What's up, man?
So welcome in everybody. This is the Black Man Unfiltered Network. This is the One and One Sports Show. I'm Dante.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee.
And Shiny, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was waiting for, you know how like when sports leagues they have the fan voting and people are popular, like we know that's what push you out into the playoffs. But I was thinking, man, you know what? They're gonna do the right thing. They're gonna look at the Astros in the first place by I think y'all like 25 games over 500. Basically, I mean, it would be a dynasty if there was a few more championships, but it's like a strong organization. And I was like, I know Shohei Ohtani. We know that he is a superstar, MVP. You know, he's going to get the star treatment. I was like, nah, but what's the name? Alvarez having a better season. I thought they was going to go ahead and do the numbers like, last minute, all the tricks that the organizations can do. I was like, I'm going to give them time to do it. That's why I didn't speak on it last week. But I'm going to let you go ahead and do your thing. And, because I know I was disappointed, but I'm not even a fan of the team. I actually don't like the team. It's a rival. But I even myself, I hope nobody kills me. I was like, who I'm going to vote for DH? I was like, look at his numbers. Over 1,000 OPS. I'm voting for this man. That's the enemy. I click the vote, whatever. But go ahead and get your spiel about, the MLB, what they...
But no!
Yeah, so... I'm trying to look up. I know I posted those somewhere on the internet recently about the whole Alvarez compare his numbers to Aaron Judge, and even I don't know if it was Aaron Judge and Kyle Schwarber or just whoever, all the other big hitters who were in this MVP or in this exciting race earlier today. Maybe even Ohtani was in it as well. But yeah, my thing is, with Major League Baseball, they always, and especially pretty much with Major League Baseball, their main media, I guess that the main networks that really talk about them for the most part, of course, the MLB Network, Fox Sports, ESPN, the usual big ones. So you always hear on ESPN how MLB struggles to showcase or promote their stars. And then on the same side of it, ESPN only talks about East Coast teams, in particular the Yankees, especially if the Yankees are playing well. So you talk about the MLB needs to promote more stars around the league as a whole so it can grow their game, because it looks like their game is just so much back in the past. They're stuck in the past. And then ESPN goes around and they only talk about the Yankees or just really the teams in the Northeast, because that's pretty much where they base out of. They also base out of Northeast. They only talk about those. So you only hear about Aaron Judge. You got the Yankees, they playing good right now. And then you have Judge leading the MLB in homers. So this is a perfect cocktail for ESPN. That's all they talk about. So then you have Judge, and then I guess they figured, and no blame to Shohei Ohtani. The dude, he is doing something that we haven't seen since Babe Ruth with his pitching and hitting, and how well he's performing on both sides of the plate. So I guess we talk enough about these East Coast teams. They want us to promote, because they try to promote Mike Trout, but Trout's personality, and he also he doesn't want that. Mike Trout likes to be in the shadows. That's where he's making all this money for a dead end team, but you never hear him complain about it. He just likes being where he's at. But with Ohtani, I guess it's okay. But now we have another player who just happened to be also in another big market over there in LA. I know they're in Anaheim, really, but that they promote. So now you either hear about Judge or Ohtani, and just like what you brought up to open up the show with the All-Star games, for the most part, like the NBA, the starters, the two players with the most votes, they automatic start. So, and then the other starters, they are determined by the fan vote. Well, if you're only promoting the same two dudes all the time, out of the 30 teams, and you only talk about two of them, because one of them is doing something on both sides of the plate, and the other one just basically leading the league in home runs. they don't know many of the fan base, and then of course they got there's some that's still mad about the Astros, even though a lot of those players from 2017, they're not on the team no more. As far as Altuve, but Altuve, I guess Altuve is a easy target because he doesn't really speak that much in the media. During that whole scandal thing, the only one who was really talking, that was really giving some feeling about it, was Carlos Correa. Altuve, he spoke when they, did that public apology, I guess, what that press conference. But he just happened to be the one they pick on. It's been already, Altuve wasn't taking a part of the whole trash can thing. Matter of fact, when they tried to do it, he told them don't do it when he was up at the plate. So he wasn't taking part of that. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these people want to make up something about this buzzard, even though MLB said there was no buzzard. So the same report that people believed that told them about the Astros and the trash can was the same report that said that Altuve was not doing anything with no buzzard, but they still want to put that, in his, on his plate. So that's why they see him all the time. Everywhere he goes, they boo him. But for whatever reason, Altuve used that booing like spinach, like Popeye, and he hitting home runs left and right. That's what been getting the Yankees to the point where Braves fans of last year's World Series was like, I remember seeing some post that was floating around social media. Do not boo this dude. He gets off on this and he will kill us. So they were saying, don't boo this dude. That's why you didn't really hear it that much in the World Series. So, but with that, Yordon Alvarez wasn't a part of the 2017 team. So he has no part of that. But some people, after the fans, they still hold that against the Astros, even though that was almost 6 seasons ago. So when it comes to Alvarez, you look at, he's just right behind Judge in the home run numbers. I believe he has a better OPS. He has a better batting average. I think Judge is slightly above him as RBIs. So as far as power and the hitting numbers, Alvarez is having the better season. Alvarez is probably even having a better season than Kyle Schwarber. They just getting all their attention with the home runs.
Yeah, it's the home runs, and it's the fact. And I know East Coast wise, they're gonna say, "Oh, he plays center field and he's a DH." But my thing is, the DH is universal now, so you can't do that anymore. Which thank God, I'm an AL person, so that was always a problem for me. And then Judge, he had 65 RBIs to Alvarez is 60. He has 30 home runs to Alvarez. Let me see, he has 26, so he's second in the AL. I don't want to say, like you said, when it gets to batting average, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's that much close. I think I'm looking right here, and I see Judge is hitting 280. He's hitting 282, and I want to say Altuve. I got it right here. Let me click right here because I saw that and I was just like, you have every right to be upset. He's hitting 306, so he's clearly clearing them in that one, and his OPS is first. He's got over 1,000 OPS.
And he has less strikeouts than Judge as well.
And so it's a deal to where he's somebody that when he's on the plate, I'm scared of him. And it's just like he's a ranger killer. He's a guy that you should promote. And like we're past the point. We have Shohei Ohtani, who, ESPN, Stephen A. of ESPN got in trouble with the English speaking thing. We can't use that as anything anymore. You have to engage more, and I feel like Major League Baseball player, one of my favorite players, is that I definitely am a guy that there's not a lot of brothers in the MLB. So one of my favorites is Tim Anderson, and I see that he's an all-star this year. He's in the commercial with the Dairy Queen, and it's like they're doing commercials. They're trying to push guys in the game. Alvarez needs to be next up. MLB is missing. You're getting it right with Ohtani. He's on the cover of the Major League Baseball game. And you're doing good like that, and I feel like, hey, no slight to him, but on the MVP talk, you're completely right, and it's almost like really bad because the Yankees are doing great, like historically great numbers is winning, man. The Mets are up big too, and so and I'm gonna take a pause real quick. If you guys want to show the show some love, help and support us. My Cash App is at the bottom of the screen, and as well as Shani's, so help us out. We appreciate it, but. Alvarez, like he's a guy that he needs it. He just signed an extension. He's 25. As a 25-year-old, and it's just like, hey, as you see it, other guys, their English speaking gets better as they go on, but you don't even need that. You just need to show his power numbers, Like all the big hits, like, and I will say this to critique MLB. I know you're trying to be down with the streaming, but baseball is an extremely regional sport.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that too.
I heard that my whole life, and what I didn't realize is over a decade ago, I interned for what's now Valley Sports, which was at the time Fox Sports Southwest, and I was hearing all these numbers. You know, I'm trying to do my work, and I'm like, wait, they getting paid $75,000, and I was just like, it's just money coming in. It's a money maker. And that's what the sport is strong because, hey man, this is 162 games. The way TV programming works, I need something to put on in this slot. For baseball, 30-minute pregame, 3.5-hour game, post-game. Look at all that programming. Radio, same thing. And you just plug that in and you make it work. And so I was like, oh, that's how the bag works. And it's not national. You have a national game of the week. And now they have where there is a national game of the week, and Apple Plus has it. Hey, bro, I don't know the numbers of Apple Plus, but I know I don't have it, and I don't need any more streaming services. So they should at least, when you have that, have it to where you still show the game regionally. You cannot see a game regionally if your team is playing on Apple Plus. And under the Rangers, I think they played the Astros once on it, and they played the Mets once because they do put the Astros in the rotation because I mean they are a juggernaut and they are consistent at this point, playoff team, and you know basically you can bookmark them for the ALCS almost every year at this point. I was praying.
5 straight.
Correa would leave. The down Kyle Tucker came up, and I was like, damn, bro, that's another one. And it's just like, it beats promoting like the bad guy angle. And like I got another one of my boys. He's a big Astros fan, and I put it to him like this, bro. It's like it's not that other people aren't cheating. It's the fact that Major League Baseball they did about as bad as a job as punishing them as the NFL did with Spygate. We're gonna destroy the evidence. We're gonna, and the union is so strong. We're like, now you're not gonna punish us. We'll apologize. We're not gonna punish us. Who takes the fall? The manager. The manager, basically, in that case, is like a member of ownership. And the owners have in their history, they've gotten their butts kicked by the MLB union. And I feel like, hey, this was a case where the union should have kind of stepped up and said, hey, we got to let them fall more on the sword. And I think you wouldn't get it. And I think the bad reaction of the COVID shutdown happening and fans not being able to get their rocks off and talk about how everything that happened. But I'm with you, man. They got to get over that. It's like what's done is done. Nobody, Springer he was arrogant too. He came off as really arrogant with it. Correa came off as arrogant with it. And now Tuesday, since he's the former MVP and the star, he's going to get a run of it. And they like to pick on him. And he likes to pick on him at the plate. I wouldn't do it either. But I just hope the MLB can, take a step forward as far as, make an initiative to produce your players and promote them. What's the name? I'm trying to think of his name. Bryce Harper. And weird things happened with the All-Star game. He did not make the All-Star team last year. He was the NL All-Star, NL MVP last year. So it's like you do get forced when that happens. Alvarez is still an All-Star. He's probably going to let him, or him and Ohtani's going to lock up the DH spot probably the next 5-6 years. Unless they move Ohtani to pitcher, then it'll just be him. So, but I do appreciate talking a little baseball. I try to pace it because we are just now at the halfway point. And so y'all got the third place locked up. So it's kind of like basically it's a fight with who is he gonna be? When are y'all gonna face the Yankees? Because I know they want the Yankees, and then we already had a New York, and I didn't. They screwed us on the schedule, but we had a whole New York trip. It was 2 games with the Mets, and then 4 games versus the Yankees, and then backdoored it with another 2 games against the Mets. Then came back to Houston for 1 game against the Yankees. And then after the first series we have after the All-Star is a doubleheader versus the Yankees. So they playing them. And then the thing about it with the Astros and the National, like going back to how basically you want with Yordon, he just falls in this category where people just don't really know about him because he doesn't get promoted. And then when you look at, MLB, ESPN, the main one talking about MLB needs to promote their stars more. Well, ESPN, y'all can promote them as well. So y'all definitely do with Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. That's all they talk about. So it's like, you one of the main medias for the MLB.
showcase some of these young stars that's coming up.
You got to do it. Like, there's a guy in Kansas City that they think is going to be like Hall of Fame level. I mean, obviously they're not winning. And then Bobby Witt Jr., he's from Dallas. And I remember I've been hearing talk about him because, because one of the guys at the radio station talks about cards a lot. That's a popular card. But it's like they're young guys. One of my favorite players, Fernando Tatis Jr., he got hurt. So he's either not back yet or he'll be back sometime this season. That's a young guy that's won an MVP. And it's like you have the young guys. You just have to promote them. Fox, what they've noticed is, Fox Sports, they've noticed ESPN has the East, so they have the West, so they do talk about the Dodgers. Like, I watch Colin's show. Since I've been working from home, I watch this show a lot. He speaks a lot of Dodgers when he does talk baseball because that's an interesting team. And they have star power. They got Mookie Betts, my favorite player in the game. But, he gets some love and other guys do. But it's being so regional, you got to at least talk about them. And it's not like, and then it is weird because it's not like basketball where it's like, hey, markets. When it comes to markets, if you say the NBA, they talk about Houston when they're relevant. When they have Harden, and it's it's a thing where they talked about their own national games.
Exactly.
But the Astros are on national games, but it's just like it doesn't get much traction past that. It's just like,
they Astros. Okay, I say this: Astros won a title in 2017. I remember distinctly, like usually after a team won a title, that very next season. That's when they get the most attention because they defend the champs. Houston, I remember this like it was yesterday. Houston did not get that much in national games at all. This is before everything came out after that damn Mike Fiers, the one who snitched on him. So this is before everything came out. So they was just playing ball, and I remember in 2018, because Houston is not one of the major baseball markets. It's a major market because the city is so big. Yeah. Houston supports its own. It's always been like that.
Always. And you know what's weird? You know what the top three like all-time franchises that are quote unquote, because baseball, the game has changed, so there's only a few baseball towns or cities. New York is a baseball city. Boston is a baseball city. That's both Northeast. The Dodgers, and LA is weird. LA is not a football town. It is a Laker and it is a Dodger town. And so those two over there, and then of course, you have in the Midwest, you got St. Louis. St. Louis has I want to say that's second most championships ever. It's like the Yankees, huge drop off, and then it's the Cardinals, and they are a strong, proud franchise. The other places where they're big markets is the Chicago teams, and it's weird. Because like I remember when I was at Prairie View, I remember they were in the World Series, and I met a guy. He was just like, "Now I'm from the South Side. I root for the White Sox," and I was like, "Oh, well, nationally they're always talking about the Cubs." And it's just like they're kind of in the shadow of the Cubs, even though the Cubs historically suck. And so it's like, and they are the nostalgic historic franchise. So you get them talked about, and you get the the Cardinals. That's the Midwest. Then you talk about the Dodgers out west, and then you talk about the Yankees and the Red Sox, and that's all your coverage. That's why the deal where Josh Hamilton was like, "Oh, this isn't a baseball town," and it's like he's right, but like to the defense, what towns are other than the ones I've named? Like you literally have a team that great historically, and it's a whole nother issue in Oakland, and they can't get support or they're and it's weird like that. Or you have a team where the Marlins, the Marlins or the Tampa Bay, either one, just pick one and remove them because they should really have a team. You had a team that would be a contender and then win it and then just trade everybody. And so it's like baseball has like some things they got to figure out with that and get engaged. Like, cause like I was telling somebody on Facebook, the first sport my son is gonna play is baseball. That's I feel like it's a merit. Like that's you let them play ball first, and then you figure out what they're gonna do after that. Like that's just what you do. Like I know I stopped because yips. I didn't know what yips was, but yips is the thing. I caught a ball once. It was my brother's glove. My brother was a really good first baseman. And he was the first guy. I didn't know you could do that. He had enough power when he was in Little League, he was hitting it over the fence. Like it was like a street by there. He hit it in the fence, and I was like, well, I can't do that. But, I admired him for that. And, I had his glove, and I catch one, and it hit me, came by the face, and I was like, hit me in the eye, and I played first base. I could never, like somebody had an easy ground single from third. Could have threw it to me, but he didn't trust me to catch it. And once he didn't throw me that ball, that was the last time I played baseball. I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm going to stick to this football or this basketball. I was like, nah. So I respect the hell out of the game. It's extremely difficult.
You gotta get used to failure.
And it's great when you can see it. I do think that basketball and baseball need to look at their analytics and kind of go away from them a little bit. I love the numbers, but baseball, as far as the entertainment value, like I was excited the Rangers signed Marcus Semien. I didn't know he stole bases. And I was like, so I'm looking up, okay, bro, you stealing bases. The glove is, playing in the field from short to second, that's going to come. The bats and the homers are coming. And it's like, so you giving me enjoyment from watching you in the field. If you draw a walk, hitting homers, hitting doubles. So it's like, bro, it's more interesting. It's more to it than these numbers. Like, I know Moneyball was a big thing and a great movie and it was an interesting story, but I do think they need to kind of scale more towards that. Just like, you had Adam Silver in the NBA talking about different things. They need to kind of go back to, hey, let's drive, let's fast break, let's go dunks. Maybe a few more mid-range and less threes. And I think it needs to go gear towards that. And I don't have like a great transition here, but I saw what you put when we were talking about the show and you mentioned Deshaun Watson. How pissed are people going to be if he gets 4 to 6 games?
Yeah, because I was just looking at, I forgot, I just did like a regular Google or just search them up, and it was just I don't know if it was a rumor or just early reports that's like I said, that looked like what they were leaning to 4 to 6 games.
Yeah,
I think the city of Cleveland, they want to get it over with. They just want okay. So I'm pretty sure they know what the talent they have, but I'm pretty sure up there, 'cause I heard on the radio this morning, that's all that's what they've been talking about. It's just Watson. What is he? What's going on with Watson and the whole accusations and all that. They just kind of like, okay, look, let him get suspended, let him know the game so we can officially move on. We can prepare. He's gonna be out for a season or whatnot. So if it's 4 to 6 games, if it is truly that, I believe the city will be happy. Of course, there'll be some people upset about, the whole accusation as a whole. But I believe that the football community is, because the first, I think the one thing that you could compare it to is baseball's, I just forgot his name. Bauer. Not Bauer.
You talking about? I know you talking about the pitcher from the Dodgers.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Bauer.
Trevor Bauer. Yes, because he was kind of the same, not with a number of accusations, but it was an accusation that was made to him. He denied it 100% all the way, and not only before the penalty came down, they basically put him like on I guess an MLB exemptions list, and he was out for I think a season plus, and I don't know if he was still getting. I don't think he was getting paid, and then the suspension came down. And now MLB are going to suspend him for, I believe, for 2 seasons with no pay. So he was already not getting paid because he was on some sort of exemption list, and then he had the suspension. And all of this is just from accusations. So with Watson's case, had a more a story, because the Trevor Bauer didn't get that much attention just because it's for baseball, really. But the Watson is getting all type of attention. So you're going to see some people probably try to compare that, because they're saying, okay, Watson, we looking at this Trevor Bauer, you should get at least a season. If he gets 4 to 6 games, there's going to be some people that's going to be pissed off about that, because they think the NFL is going to be lenient. Hey, what's up, Hank? What's up, man? Appreciate you for joining in.
What's going on, big brother? You good?
Yes, sir, man. We were here talking about some baseball, that we transitioned to this Deshaun Watson, because I was Googling it up, searching it up, and I found that it looks like it's a rumor, so it's not 100% 100% report, but it looks like they're leaning towards a 4 to 6 game suspension. So we're trying to see how would you think will be what do you think the if there will be any backlash, or you think it will be accepted by the football public? Because you always know it's gonna be some people out there gonna be like they gonna treat it like the Mike Vick thing. They gonna even though nothing was ever proven, they want him gone.
Well, if they give him, look, I look at it like this: if he just get half a season, man, you really can't complain. Not to me. I don't think you can, because with the 20 other ones he already settled with. When you settle, you already you already admit guilt right then and there when you settle. But and now you got these 4 other chicks that they not settling. They going all the way through with it. So if you get between 6 and 8 games, you can't act. If they do a whole season, I think that's just overboard, overkill to me. So I mean, I'm rooting for him, man. I want to see the man do well. I hope he can avoid that many games. If he gets 8 games, hey man, just accept it and move on and take your punishment. Hopefully you live and learn from this situation. But I was the one that hit you up last week when you talked about Lamar Jackson.
What you got?
That's good, man. The guy's a hell of a regular season quarterback. But when it comes to the postseason, he ain't shit. I mean, he just ain't shit, man. I mean, I understand the man won the MVP in the regular season, but guess who else won the MVP? Matty Ice. Matt Ryan won the MVP. That man took his team all the way to the Super Bowl and should have won if he had a better offensive coordinator, who is now the 49ers coach, run offense and making the decision not to stop passing and maybe run the goddamn ball a little bit. But that's neither here nor there. But just to me, I mean, if I was Lamar, I'd go out there and find me a real agent. Using my mother just to try to save a few dollars, that's a fool's move. You're missing out on too many opportunities for advertisements, endorsements. I mean, because you got your mother as your agent, and she don't really know what she's doing. Why would you make that move just to save a few dollars?
Dante, that's what he's speaking about, because Lamar basically, even though he basically represents himself, his mom is there, but he doesn't have an agent. And with Lamar, from what I heard was that he don't really talk about it during the season. So it's like he puts it on pause during the season. No communications about his contract and stuff. And then all of a sudden, it gets kind of crammed in the off season. Even though with an agent, at least they can kind of talk in the background, and they may put it to the side during the regular season. But since he won't represent himself, it's a lot of times where it just gets kind of frozen for a little bit, and that's why he in the position he is now. I mean, he says it's not a big deal, but I'm pretty sure he'd like to get a deal done so he can move forward.
My thing is, it's a big deal, and Pink, I appreciate you checking this out, man. Jay, I appreciate you coming in. As far as Lamar Jackson, his mother should have done this. We understood that teams wanted to get him and move him to receiver when he went to college. That's cool. You went to Louisville, a spot where you had leverage, you're a top athlete, and then they was like, no, I play quarterback. I even respected him not running the 40, but his mama, like a track relay, should have took the baton and handed it to an agent. He's going to play quarterback, and when you have an agent, especially as powerful, the owners have all the power with the media. But the smart agents can trick it and be like, oh, no, this. And they would have had a rebuttal for the he's a running back thing, all of that stuff. They would have had a plan for that. Not only that, you would have already had the money, because the deal was already set. After Allen goes and gets his deal, yeah, he's taking his team to a step higher for the conference championship. You have that MVP and the mantle. Bro, that is a plan. There's no reason that deal shouldn't be done. You just got me pissed about that all again. Like, that man should have got his deal. And Shiny, you say he don't talk. Of course, he's not talking to business during the season because he's going over the game plan. You don't have time. Like, that's why it's another topic. People don't really trust the players, NFL Top 100, because the players are watching film, doing their endorsements, doing their bye weeks, spending time with their kids, or they messing with, the women. You don't have time to scout players and know who's doing the top 50. Let alone, hey, how should I do this contract? How should I do this? And I'm assuming they have a lawyer to look over the financials, so you're just paying a lawyer. But now the agent move, Like you'd have to go get a guy that's gonna be the next Rich Paul, but you did need to get a qualified agent, especially one that works for quarterbacks, and and that would have been a better deal for him. Now, as far as the quarterback list, I want to talk to you about, Johnny. I wanted to ask you. Now, you said that I want to say Lamar was honorable mention, and so was Derek Carr. I got the list here, 1 through 10. For me, Aaron Rodgers, after the last 2 postseasons, I can't continue to put him as the top guy. Mahomes, every year he's been in the playoffs. Every year he's been a starter, they've been in the conference championship. And that's something, now last year he didn't have the best performance, but he's still there. Aaron Rodgers against a defensive team, against a quarterback that the team already wanted to get rid of, you lost to them and they scored 13 points. I can't continue to just turn a blind eye to that stuff. I can't do it. So that was my problem with him being 1, but I can deal with it. Dak at 10, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Dak being 10. I'm cool with him not being there. For me personally, we talked about it already. I don't like to do the Deshaun thing because he already gonna miss some games, and I just have him in honorable mention and just kind of just act like and just turn a blind eye to it. So I'd be cool with moving Lamar in there and having him at 10 or 9. Herbert up there, I'm high on him, but I couldn't put him above Russell Wilson. Wilson was off a bad year. But I want to say from everyone on the list, everybody on the list was obviously minus Watson and Wilson, and Herbert was on playoff teams. And wins on a quarterback stack, but when you have a quarterback that's that good or paid that much because you're supposed to be that good, you should be consistently in the playoffs and making noise. So I feel like from that perspective, the list is solid. The other list they had, like the receivers list, I think the executives did a good job with it. The fact that Cooper Kupp wasn't the number 1 receiver, I did agree with that. I felt like he had an all-time great season. I would not pick him over Devontae Adams. I would not pick him over Jamar Chase. I would not pick him over Justin Jefferson. So I felt like that. I wouldn't pick him over Tyreek Hill.
Now you're talking about Cooper Kupp now, the receivers now.
Yeah, as a receiver, I wouldn't pick him over him. I would. I like Kupp, but he's another guy that he had a healthy season, a great season at the right time, but he's also a guy that injury prone. He's a guy that in fantasy, it's going to be hard to pass on him, but I don't know. That's a guy that is a really productive player, but I don't know. You got to give him hats off. He had the better season than all those players, but over consistency, Devontae Adams is that guy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna speak on the receivers before I get go back over this quarterback. And I think that's what he was talking about when I was talking about last week when I brought up Lamar Jackson, because it was right when they released that top 10 NFL quarterback, and Jackson wasn't on the list. But with the receivers, I believe, and pretty much every position on the team, they are fully dependent on the system that they play in. And with Cooper Kupp, I know, a lot of people say I'd rather take this receiver because I'm a DeAndre Hopkins fan. But a lot of people say I'd rather take this receiver, I'd rather take this receiver. Well, they only gonna produce what their offense allows them to. And with Cooper Kupp, dude just coming off a Triple Crown season, it's hard, I guess, unless you're looking at the whole physical attributes, as far as speed and the height and the jump ball ability. And with the Rams, Cooper Kupp is going to get that ball. Stafford targets the dude, it seems like 80% of his passes, what it looks like. But Cooper Kupp is going to get the ball, and he still produces. Now, and it shows since he's led the league in receiving yards, touchdowns, and receptions. So right now, if I say entering the 2022 season as top wide receivers, I'm gonna have to put Cooper Kupp at the top because you only as productive as the system allows you to. I don't even know what Adams gonna do with the Raiders now, but what Cooper was doing in the Rams. If you're gonna keep it just what they produce on the field. Now, if you're gonna go into the tail of the tape and all that, that's different. Because I believe DeAndre Hopkins has the best hands in the NFL. But, he's still not producing what Cooper Kupp is doing on the field. So that's what about the receiver thing. And Jay, I saw your question. We'll get to that once we get through the NFL piece. But and going back to the quarterbacks, it's just a lot of unknowns. With Dak, he started becoming the quarterback he is when Amari Cooper got there. When Amari Cooper became his receiver, that's when he changed. His productivity changed. They traded him. So it almost kind of feel like I almost got to push the reset button on Dak Prescott a little bit, because I got to see how he's going to, what type of, thing. I know he still has CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb is not the route runner that Amari Cooper was, and that was what really helped out Dak. Because on the past several seasons with Dak, I always said that his skill set was growing. It was literally growing every season. And then all of a sudden last year, a lot of people want to say it was the injury, but Dak never said it was the injury. He said he was fine. So I'm like, okay, if you said if you wasn't injured, okay, I'm gonna say that then. If and I saw from what I saw on the outside, the last 7 weeks of the season, your production dropped. So I don't know how to feel about exactly. So that's I still think Lamar Jackson deserved to be in that top 10. Yeah, I think he definitely. I gotta look at the list again. He could potentially be in the top 6.
Really, to be honest, the top 6, and it's one of those deals.
The man is entertaining. He's gonna give you a high, but he can't read a defense worth shit. And look, when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, he's 1-3. I can't do it. I can't do it, man.
Okay, so hey, this is what I gotta say on that one. Cause you bring up, cause that's my thing about Lamar with the playoff, his lack of playoff success. One can say the same exact thing, but he already has 1 ring. But Aaron Rodgers is almost in that same boat. When you hear about Aaron Rodgers, it's all about what he's done in the regular season. Cause it don't matter how a quarterback that great. And Aaron Rodgers now is in that he will ultimately be, how they say the Hall of Fame, but there's that upper room in them Hall of Fames. Aaron Rodgers will be in there. There's no reason why Aaron Rodgers loses twice to Jimmy Garoppolo, and especially the last time in the form that he did. He didn't score, throw a touchdown.
Don't leave out the NFC Championship with Brady shot to get that.
Exactly.
Game away, and I was like, the one thing I didn't want is Brady to go back with another team, and the hoopla that gets around him. It's like, I understand he's great, but the people lose their minds around him. Like, they act like he did not throw those 3 picks, and it's like, bro, you didn't see this man not performing. But I understand you on the guy calling him out. Like, you can't be an MVP. You can't be the top seed in the Titans coming to your house and just. I like him as a player. I like him a lot. But you do have to be like, look, I didn't perform. He did perform the last time he was with them against the Titans. And then last year, he was trying to throw it more. And like you said, the decision making was like, well, what did you see right there? Because that wasn't, I don't know if you're seeing ghost or what. It was some really bad ball placement and some really bad decisions. So that's my thing with him. I'm a defender of him. I like him. You got to see another step up on the passing game. It can't just be Andrews and then you got the running ability. You have to get those receivers better. What's man dropped a lot of balls from Hollywood Brown is working with some young guys, working with them, and doing whatever, but we got to see improvement.
Go ahead, Hank.
You also realize, man, the last time we seen Lamar in the playoffs, he had 3 turnovers. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. And think about it, his backup quarterback, the guys backed him up, played just as good a game as he did in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, is this what we're gonna do? So why am I gonna invest that much money up? Are you really looking to pay this man $45 million a year? Because I mean, right now that's the going rate thanks to Deshaun Watson's contract.
Exactly, yeah.
$45 million a year quarterback. He's only going to give me 15, maybe 14 games during the regular season. Because he's going to get hurt. He's going to end up getting hurt, and he's going to miss about 2 or 3 games. And the best ability is availability. And if he's not there to play, I can't use him. But then I'm gonna pay him $45 million a year, and then this is your playoff record. You 1-3. No, you're number one seed and you lose in the first round. I can't handle that. It's not worth the investment. Yeah, in the regular season, are you gonna sell tickets yet? You gonna throw the show? You gonna give me a highlight or two yet? Okay, I appreciate that. But then in the postseason, where are you at? Nah.
So my question with that is, if you don't want to pay, because that's why owners was upset with the Browns for giving Washington that much guaranteed money, because especially the Ravens, because they know that now what they got to deal with Jackson. I tell Jackson, hey, that's not your problem. Get your money. But with that being said, if you are unwilling to play Jackson, let's just say 45 plus, look like that's what it's going to be around that mark. What you gonna do? You gonna let him go? If you gonna, my whole thing is, if you don't want to pay a certain player and you're willing to let him go, because they're gonna say they can find that money elsewhere. What will be your plan on the backup? Because my thing about Lamar Jackson, yeah, everything you said is true about his underperforming, in the postseason. But even with that, I say Lamar Jackson is just a winner. He's not the best thrower, but he will always keep his teams in games. And I don't know why. I guess because in the playoffs, the teams that you are playing against, usually they have the defensive capability to turn it up a notch and really game plan the hell out of you on your weakness. And that's exactly what's been going on with, it's one thing to play a different team every week from week to week in the regular season. But when the postseason get here, and now you're playing them upper echelon teams, and usually they come with a good defense. They can, okay, we see your weakness, we're going to exploit it, especially damn sure the Patriots. That's their MO. Surprise, motherfucker. I don't know where that thing come from. But when you play the upper echelon team and your weakness, by Jackson, they say his weakness is a throw. Even though he got pretty good throwing numbers, but he's just not the prolific thrower as you think, even Deshaun Watson. But the other QBs, minus the Steelers, but just the QBs in his division alone. So I still think he's a winner, even though, for whatever reason, he's having this postseason struggles for the most part. Maybe it will turn. But if you let him go because you don't want to give him that money, what will be your backup plan? Because as of now, there's not nobody out there who can do what Lamar Jackson can do.
The draft. Because you just
that's it.
Go ahead.
That's it. Because if you looked at the Baltimore history, they won with average quarterbacks. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. They didn't have a superstar quarterback. They had a good defense, good run game, and then a good average quarterback who didn't turn the ball over. But you look at Joe Flacco's record. He got a big contract because of what he done in the postseason. Not what he done in the regular season. He got that big deal because of what he was done in the postseason. So, if I was them, I would trade him. Get your 2 first-round draft picks out of him, and then go and build from there. Because right now, I don't see them making any serious runs in the playoffs with Lamar at the helm. I don't. You know what I'm saying? They need to really address at the receiver position. But for some reason, every year, they figure out, we're going to get another linebacker or another cornerback. That's been a draft every year. For the past 2 years, you spent two times your first round picks on defensive players. But y'all keep complaining, talking about what Lamar needs receivers. Maybe he does. To me, I think Bateman is a hell of a receiver. It's going to take maybe another year or two. You got Andrews. I think he's a hell of a tight end. Hollywood didn't really understand. I didn't think he was that good, but he was a good piece. He's a good secondary man. He's not a number one. So you need to either boost your receiver core if you're gonna keep Lamar and pay this man, or maybe make a trade and in that first 2 picks, the first 2 rounds, the next 2 years, maybe get a quarterback, then maybe follow the next year, get you a good receiver, or maybe a good receiver in the second round. You always find a good receiver in the second round. I like Dobbin. I like him as a running back. I think he's going to be a hell of a running back.
Yeah.
As long as he can stay healthy. I think he's going to be a hell of a tailback. But I don't think he's going to flourish if they got Lamar, because Lamar's going to hold the ball. He's not going to end up. But he did it in college. If I was when he was at U of L, if I was running back at U of L, I wouldn't go there. As long as Lamar that he not handing the ball off, and the coach was all okay with it.
Well, I think what they're gonna rely on is the fact that defenses, and that's what helps them. They have a defensive culture in Baltimore, and like you said, they don't reach for guys. So, like, I want to say, ever since the draft, we can know by now, when they leak certain stuff about the draft, it's certain guys that they go at the top, and then you knew it for 3 months. Cal Hamilton was supposed to be like a top 10 guy. The Ravens couldn't resist taking him at 14, and they couldn't resist taking Linderbaum, who probably one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. They couldn't handle taking him at 25. So it's like they don't jump for the receiver like a Cowboys would do, like other offensive-oriented teams would do. But I'll tell you one thing: a guy that won the, I want to say he was Biletnikoff in the race for the Biletnikoff in college. Tylen Wallace, they got him in the 4th round from Oklahoma State. He's the guy that, excuse me, you're going to give some more opportunities to with Marquise Brown leaving. I want to say Bateman didn't get a lot of time last year with him being hurt in the preseason and with Lamar missing games. So hopefully in the preseason they can work together and they can get some things going, because you got to get 2 guys to the outside. It can't just be the tight end and the slot guy. It does have to be that. But he does, especially in the pro game, he helps the running back, because if he holds the ball out, everybody's freezing, because it's like, man, we know Lamar is a threat, and he's gonna basically, they shouldn't ever spend much on running back, because his threat of running the ball, you getting 5 a pop. If the line is solid and they're worried about Lamar, you're getting 5 a pop. But with that defensive culture we're putting out there, with getting Peters back, Marlon Humphrey being healthy and having a good year, Cal Hamilton added to the secondary. I want to say they added Marcus Williams from the Saints. They got the linebacker from LSU. His name escapes me right now. They have the defensive culture and the defense that's going to keep them in games. And I'll say this right now. We ain't on our NFL predictions. Don't be surprised if what the Bengals did last year was a fluke. Don't be surprised in that division with Baltimore coming for you with their defense and with their pride. They don't give up what they did to Jamar Chase. They don't let that happen in Baltimore. So I think when they see him, they're going to come with a different game plan and probably can hold him to a more respectable number. And just the fact they kind of waded through the playoffs and they floated through. I still think the Ravens will be able to win that division. Now, Lamar Jackson is going to set himself up to not get the bag, or if he gets to the AFC Championship, it's like the Disney movie Blank Check. The Ravens in trouble.
Hey, I think it depends on how many games Watson gets, man. But it might be Pittsburgh and Baltimore fighting for that 4th place in that division, man.
I think the few games that he's gonna miss is gonna set them off. It might set them off just enough. Now they do got Brissett as the backup, and they still got that good offensive line, man. Mm-hmm. And they about to give it to Chubb. They got a back, man. It was embarrassing, but they had some no-name running back I never heard of just eat up when he played the Cowboys. And I was like, man, this line is good. It's just lanes for days.
You talking about Ernest Johnson, I think his name is.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, and then you got him and you got Hunt, and I'm like, bro, they taking it back and they playing old school. We about to smash you football. The defense, I know people get hype about them. I think they brought back Clowney, but the fact that they took a young corner last year, they got Myles Garrett, who's always going to be up for a defensive player of the year. And like the fact that they have a defense where it's like they're playing, like that kid, I don't want to mess his name up, but JOK is his initials, that linebacker from last year. He's a guy that can fly around the football. That's probably, I know everybody's like, man, the AFC West, yes, it's the best. And then right under it is the AFC North. Because I feel like that's going to be some good football when those teams playing. Those are teams I'm going to look out for to catch some games, even when my team is not playing or whatever. But it's real interesting, and they got to make a decision. The Browns go to camp on the 30th. This Saturday, it's 2 weeks from now. They need to go ahead and just news dump it on the Friday. Drop it off at like 4:50. And then by the time it comes to Monday, they'll talk about it. Tuesday to get some traction. And then Wednesday, we're doing camp preview. That's business of sports leagues, especially with bad news. With bad news, you drop that on a Friday, and it's just going to go away. It's going to go away. And then, there are going to be during the season just like with Michael Vick, but it's a different situation. There are going to be groups. There were Peter spoke out against Vick coming. As far as for Deshaun Watson, I'm not sure which women's organization is going to come out and say something. I know certain women broadcasters have said things. And what I will say is this. It's a teaching moment. Every case doesn't seem like it was sexual assault. But what I read, a lot of it was sexual intimidation. And all you can do is try to teach a young man. I know Black Man, he just spoke about, how to protect yourself from those type of situations. Deshaun Watson was in a hotel room that was furnished by the team. They let that slide that the team knew fully well. They gave him non-NDAs. So it was something that was going on. There was some things that some people didn't agree with. For, whether it happened legally or not, he's going to be suspended. And it's just like, eventually the people that get mad are going to have to move on. But you know why they're going to move on? Because the highest rated television show in America is Sunday Night Football. And the Browns are going to be on Sunday Night Football. They'll talk about it for a little bit. And then they're going to look at this fantastic product. People were going to watch. And I want to say 40, more than 40% of the NFL fans are women. They're going to watch. It may be uncomfortable. It's going to be talked about it, but I want to say by November, it won't. Unfortunately, it won't be a topic. And we'll be
It won't be a topic. It won't be a topic then. But unfortunately, like Kobe, once he's finished or something happens, somebody will bring it back up in the future.
And he'll have to handle it. Like Kobe, he handled it in a way in which, even though he's gone, you could play those old clips of what he said and he seemed remorseful. At first, Watson was just like, and then his goddamn lawyer like, hey man, happy endings ain't illegal. I'm like, bro, you gotta read the room, bro. You gotta read it. They not. They clearly. And then, you know what? Like I said a couple weeks ago, bro, we should have known something was up when that man was like, he run all them women out there to be like, oh no, I had a massage with him and it was fine. But why you got all this? We should have known something then, but we just didn't know it was like crazy like that till that New York Times story broke, and it was wild. But and I'm excited for football season. I know we got a little bit of time left. Jay, go ahead and drop your NBA question because I want to talk about the hypocrisy of college football. I want to talk about that. It's wild, boy. Because they
still there, Jay? Oh, let's see what that.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm more of I went to an HBCU, so I understand the money aspect of college football. We're not gonna get that. We know what happened as far as when they started desegregating schools, they took our talent. That's why you can look back all the way up into, I want to say, Aeneas Williams, who went to Southern. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You can go back, Michael Strahan, TSU. We were putting guys in the league and those diamonds in the rough were getting there. But the fact, as far as it's always been about money. Everyone says, oh, in the NFL, your team could lose. Well, in college football, bro, we got West Virginia playing Texas. That should never happen. Like, there's not an airport where you can get to West Virginia. Now we got USC, UCLA. They're going to be playing Wisconsin. They're going to the Big Ten.
That don't make no sense to me.
It's always been about money. You are basically the NFL. And even in the NFL, the Cowboys play in the NFC East. Nowhere close, but it's one day a week. Only thing is for college, hey bro, what you gonna do when you gotta have Wisconsin to be a good game? Wisconsin versus UCLA in hoops. It's a good game, but that's on Monday Night Madness. They gotta go back and they gotta go to school tomorrow, bro. It's not about that. It's not about that at all.
Hey, come on, you know they ain't going no classes. Everything's online, so you ain't got to worry about that. They gonna stay an extra day in that hotel, take them classes, and head out that evening. Hey, they gonna make it work. Now the only thing that's gonna have to be an adjustment is dealing with that weather. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to play a Saturday game in Wisconsin in November. That's gonna be hell on UCLA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's gonna be hell.
It's exciting, but I'm just glad it's like I'm cool with NIL. It should be a step further. The money should come from the pocketbooks of the team because these guys, it stopped being amateurism a long time ago, man. They're getting too much money to say that these guys shouldn't get, like, let's be honest. Even if you add in the education, don't say that it's $60,000 because that's for the total time. Do it for 1 year because it's basically a 1 year renewable deal. Everybody's scholarship except for the top guys is a 1 year deal, and then we'll renew it later. If you get a new coach and he comes in, you can kick him out. Like basically, it's finally for real junior NFL, and that's what it's been. You're gonna take the guys, the USCs, the UCLAs. It's gonna be the Big Ten up here, and it's gonna be everybody in the southern region is gonna be in the SEC that we care about. The teams out west are gonna have to figure it out, but it's gonna be bad that things aren't regionally like they used to be. Like I root for Texas, and Texas is gonna be able to play Oklahoma, Arkansas, A&M. So you're gonna have those regional games. Yeah, you gotta go to Florida every couple of years. You go to Georgia, but like UCLA, like you're not gonna play no teams from the West. And USC wise, when they rolling, they smashing them teams. And you know, and then like when you go to teams, you go and you talk noise. When we play the State Fair Classic, I get my brother with the Graham. I get to, hey, we got to tell y'all up this week. You know, you people in your local proximity. That you won't have, but TV product wise, USC going against Ohio State in November in the horseshoe, going to Michigan. That's gonna be something that we usually only see in the Rose Bowl. It's gonna be something fantastic to see, but it's like money is driving college football. That deal was done in the middle of the night. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, okay, that's a rumor. They was like, nah, it's confirmed. So they've been working on that for months, and that's because Fox has to do something. They have to steer their program. Their program, they promote USC a lot. They promote the Big Ten a lot. It has to happen, you know.
I know you're saying that that's the money. It's money that for college football. Yeah, that's really money for college athletics. It's like whatever decisions the football program make, they force the whole damn athletics department. Now you got golfers. They gonna have to, you know, they used to playing in golf clubs in Cali. Now they gotta go play in Jersey. You know, everybody they can't really say nothing because football just brings so much more money.
It pays everybody's bills, and the thing about it is, I hear it, and I like as far as Title IX perspective, like you can't tell me they can't be doing right by the women in Title IX because I didn't realize. That's only some basketball programs or, you know, make enough to profit. Basketball and football take all the money. So if I got to take this money and spread it out, bro, everybody might as well be going on nice chartered buses, get everything taken care of because the bag football is getting is crazy. Like they said, USC has been getting like $30 million from their TV deal. That may sound good, but, you know, as we saw on the past couple of seasons, was it last season or the year before? But the women's college basketball March Madness. Yeah, it's clearly they sitting on the bread. Exactly. It's making them, and it's like there was a story I was hearing. It was just like they will, for athlete numbers wise, they'll fake the numbers. But like, oh, there's this sport. They'll count people twice. They'll count people on track twice. Because, you know, you running the relay, you running the individual. They got all kind of tricks. So they trying to keep that bread because the decision makers, they are not doing what they're supposed to. The USC is supposed to go from making $30 million a year to 70 from the TV deal. Just the TV deal and that's their payout from the Big Ten. That's why all the teams are trying to go because it's like, bro, it's this sinking ship for these other conferences. Because it's like I won't have to play Austin Peay. Or, you know, I won't have to play these little schools like that. You can if you want to, but it's going to be, hey, I'm playing in this big conference. Texas already said, hey, we'll still play Tech. We'll still do this. We'll do that. And it's like the money is just, it's too insane because basically everybody either streams something or they use a DVR. Sports is the only thing that you got to watch live. And if you don't, it's ruined. Like, so you got on Saturdays, I want to go see USC. I want to see Texas. I want to see Alabama. That's why you even got big Nick Saban. He in his feelings, man. He knows what's coming. He knows that this is what it took to end your dynasty. It took NIL and it took these super conferences because, come on, bro. A&M didn't get that number one class because they care about them academics, bro. I've been to College Station. Not popping. You know, for 18-year, it's. I mean, you 18, you can find it. At Prairie View, we found a way to have fun. I mean, besides going to Houston, if you had that bread, you gotta figure something out. You gotta pitch in. You gotta have a pitch in party, like DJ Quickstep.
Well, we all know football's king, so it don't matter what anybody says, what anybody sports has to say. You gonna go with whatever the football coach said we're going to go. The AD said we're going.
They broke up the Big East.
It's like, get your ass on this bus and come get this.
Syracuse left the Big East. Like in Big East, they had that great documentary. I was like, bro, y'all had a hell of a league. You and all this legacy. Y'all said F basketball. And just, I mean, you got Rutgers playing playing Michigan.
Sit there and be quiet and take his goddamn check.
Take this check. Take this check. Kansas just won the national championship, and they're gonna be playing in the second-rate conference, killing it. But it's all about that football bag, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's why they don't make too much noise about it, because that's what I'm saying.
You notice Vanderbilt said, I ain't going nowhere. We going 0-12 every year. But I'm gonna get this goddamn check.
Yeah, exactly. Now their baseball team is what give they athletic, their baseball team is legit.
That's what
that football, nah.
Teams are gonna do that. They're gonna be like, look, we're gonna get killed, but we're gonna get this bag. We might get a couple of guys that go to the league like a Jay Cutler. We'll get a guy, we put him all over the wall, and then we'll get good in another sport. Like what?
Hey, we gonna look in football. We're gonna grab ankles, take his good old big brother Pantley.
Yeah,
keep it moving.
And that's who's gonna be them teams like that. That's who's gonna be playing the lower level teams and be like, look, we got to get some wins. Like I remember when the TV program was bad, it was just like, nah, we're gonna schedule these teams. They gonna schedule these cupcake games. We got to get these wins. So
they gonna say, Tennessee State, how many games y'all available during the season? Can we at least get about 8 games with y'all?
Bro, it's real.
So since because that was going to lead me to somewhere, but I know Jay made it back for us. And Jay, I know you had like an NBA question that you wanted to get off your chest.
Yeah, it's a pretty loaded question, but it's like two in one questions. But like I said, I was glad to hear the football topic because hey man, I need football to be good again, at least for me, because I'm losing a lot of interest in some of the games. But hopefully this season, some of these teams can surprise me and I might start caring again. Because don't worry, I felt about basketball for a while, but I just need football to be on this gay game this year, so I could just be invested in watching some games. So y'all know about the Donovan Mitchell KD thing, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me ask you a question. Yeah, I am a Heat. Like I said, I am a Heat fan. So I will say this. I personally think the Heat is going to get KD. I'll say that right now. This is going to be me off rip. I would personally think Donovan Mitchell would fit with Jimmy Butler and Bam. One, and the reason why I'll give that is because I want to hear y'all answers afterwards. One, I think Donovan Mitchell was younger and healthier. He's 25. I actually thought he was a little bit older than that, but I'm like, oh no, he young as hell. Oh no, get him. And the thing is, his scoring efficiency is really good. He's still there, and also the man can get into the paint, but also shoot large shots, similar to Devin Booker. Well, old school James Harden. I don't think he does that anymore, and Steph Curry. So I'm thinking Donovan, and I'm thinking because of the trade, the trading agency executives of what they'll allow. It's easier to get Donovan Mitchell than it is to get KD. You don't have to give up so much like you would for KD as opposed to Donovan Mitchell. Like you give up probably two people, but not nearly to the degree of KD. And I think Donovan would fit personally because when he's one that always play there, and also like I said, I think him and Jimmy. Like I said, Jimmy would still be the star, of course. He'd still be the leader of the team. I think Donovan Mitchell would be the rising star. Is what it would be. And if things go right, I can see them getting out of the conference finals. But the NBA finals is where they would have to prove themselves to like shut it down and really seal it all. But for you guys, the question I wanted to ask was, I'll say this: do you think Donovan Mitchell would fit? Do you think that he should get Donovan Mitchell or should they get KD? And I'll say this: and if you think they should get either of them, explain why you think that is so.
I think KD can fit anywhere, really, and I think Donovan can fit with them as well. I think what's kind of screwing up this whole thing was that Gobert trade. Because Gobert got so... I think if Gobert trade never happened, that trade would have sufficed for KD with those amount of picks and whatnot. But because the Gobert trade happened, and whoever trying to get KD know damn well KD is worth more than Gobert. So they're going to want more. They're going to use that Gobert trade like a baseline. And right now, the way this offseason is looking like, it don't look like too much teams have that availability to them. You know, because it don't make no sense if you're going to try to get a star, to trade your own star. You try to pair the two stars together. And then, so now you may not have the draft capital, how much you going to, and this is really for KD, how much, like with the Heat, how much are you willing to sacrifice just to get KD?
Right.
Now, what Utah, Danny Ainge is over Utah now. And Danny Ainge is known to get back some picks. So, even though Donovan Mitchell is not the same caliber player as KD, he is to the Utah Jazz. So it's like you looking at two cornerstone players who are they're gonna require some sacrifice basically from your team.
Right, you got you.
So it depends if the Heat have, I don't know how much draft capital they have, or you are gonna have a completely different roster as far as it's almost going to look like how the Nets were looking like. But the Nets were still a legit team that first season with KD and Kyrie. But after that, when they got Harden, they lost a lot of that. And then, you know, they put all their chips. They put all their chips in that boat, and so far that boat is sunk. If the Heat do that, it looks like either one of those, because I know Ainge is going to he's going to demand the house. I mean, they can potentially be. You know, yeah, you may have these two good players, but at what cost to the Heat team as a whole? It still takes the whole team to win these titles. You can't just win a team with two all-star or NBA pro players. You need a good team to go. And with this is almost like the market for housing and cars these days, how much they so high. Well, it's basically kind of the same concept in the NBA. It's just they cost too much right now.
They do.
They can make some changes or whatnot, move some pieces, but you gonna sacrifice. It's gonna leave a hell of a dent.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's gonna leave a dent. I know we only got a few minutes left. I know it's gonna be solid for us for a minute, so I'm gonna make this real quick and final remark. All right, the biggest obstacle you got is the man makes $30 million. So his contract for next year is $30 million. He'll be 26 when the season starts. So that's a good age. I think he is a 2, not a 1. And I think Jimmy is a high-level 2, friend 1. I think you put them together, you make it. I think for what they want, in their culture, I'm going to be real. KD is 34. He's been in the league a while. I think if it's going to be the easiest one to make is to make it for him. And the other reason I want him to go to the Heat, I mean, I don't want to see the 2-guard lineup, small guards with him and Brunson. 2-6-1 guards. That is going to be
I knew you was going to say that.
That was going to be difficult to make it. And I feel like we've seen that kind of play out with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And I feel like that was the best you could get in that small guard lineup. And I feel like if I'm Utah, I'm telling teams, and I'm Miami, I'm telling them, like, look, you hit a lick on the Gobert trade because Minnesota is a terrible run organization. Bro, you're not about to get those 5 first-round picks. Like, that's just what it is. Like, they got the picks. Basically, they just need to kind of, take the Duncan Robinson contract, take some picks, and then maybe take, one of those deals where you take a flyer on a young guy, or you push those protections out to where you find the year when they're bad and you do that pick swap. But, maybe you end up with a bunch of picks and you trade for a guy, but I think KD's gonna end up in Phoenix or in Brooklyn until Phoenix pay the price. And I think Mitchell's obtainable. I think it's not related, but I think Kyrie's gonna end up in LA. And I think that's kind of how everything is gonna play. And I want to say, if you don't see KD traded, and I know we got a minute left. If you don't see KD traded, it's gonna be real toxic in Brooklyn. And the trade deadline is going to be a whole bunch of. If you think he get mad at the media now, just wait till you made a trade request and then you playing in New York.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Dexter, baby. Exactly, man. I agree with you guys. And I'll say this quickly because I know we only got 1 minute left. Because my thing is, I can't see Donovan Mitchell with the Knicks. That just makes them have one player that's really good. To me, it won't be the Carmelo Nets. Nets.
No.
Knicks. It won't be the Knicks. Like, it won't. But with like I said, if KD goes back to the West, that's just more. Okay, I would say this. That's another team in contingent for the conference finals. For me, with Phoenix or Pelicans, you put them on either of them, I swear they go back up.
Pelicans would be a nice squad for KD.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, Pelicans would be nice. I thought about that. What they got now,
yeah,
that would be dope. The Phoenix is just another. It's just to replace. I'm not gonna say replace Chris Paul, but Chris Paul, like you take him out, you put KD with Devin Booker, they can go to work. And I think Devin Booker would. I'll be honest. Devin Booker is less like a bitch around stuff.
Yeah, they wouldn't take him because of the rookie designation rule. But we right up that time. So Hank, I appreciate you checking us out, man. I see you on the other shows.
Appreciate it, man.
Bracing our show and bringing it. Jay, as always, I appreciate it. Johnny, man.
Johnny, man, y'all rock.
I'm always wanting to support Black people.
I appreciate
it.
And man, this is Black Man Unfiltered Network, 1-on-1 sports show, man. We out. We will holler at y'all next week, man.
Thank you.